I have another book review. So I did a little preview of this book a couple videos ago, so you can scroll down and you can watch that one about how the first chapter of this book absolutely destroyed me. But this is the full review for Heartwood by Amity Gaige. I really, really like this book. I don't even know how else to say it. Now, it's interesting because I'm looking at the quotes on the back of the book, and they're saying propulsive, nail-biting, missing person thriller, a literary thriller, gripping page-turner of great beauty, a wilderness suspense novel, riveting. I would not describe this book in those terms. I didn't get thriller, I didn't get suspense until there's this one chunk towards the end where we're finding out what happened. Well, not what happened. We're finding out whether or not the missing hiker has survived this ordeal. And that I felt was very suspenseful, and I felt like my heart was in my throat waiting. Oh my gosh, are they going to find her alive, or is she dead? That was very suspenseful, but that was a small chunk of this book, a small chunk of this book. I would consider this straight up literary fiction. It's I guess I can see where they say a literary thriller, but again, I didn't find this to be a thriller per se. Yes, there's a mystery because we don't know why Valerie has gone missing. We don't know how she ended up in the predicament that she finds herself. That scenario of how she found herself so far off the trail and lost in the woods of Maine was a little weird, but not in a bad way. I think because it was so different than what I was expecting, it kind of caught me off guard a little bit. So it took me a step back. Had it gone the way I thought it was going to go, I think I would be like, oh yeah, that's totally what I was expecting. Not a big deal, but it was different. And it made me kind of stop and go, that's weird. But not in a bad way, just in kind of a way. For me, the power of this book is in the multiple layers of exploration of mother-daughter relationships, of relationship to self, and how we make it through traumatic experiences, and the lengths that humans go to survive. And not only to survive ordeals like being lost and starving in the woods, but ordeals like the pandemic, ordeals like coming to this realization of what you need to do to protect yourself and your emotional health. It was very eye-opening in that way. I think there are several characters that are probably neurodivergent or on the autism spectrum, just in how they relate to the world and to the people around them. And I found that really interesting to read. And it was refreshing to see that reflected on the page. But it was, you have the full gamut of mother-daughter relationships. You have really good mothers that are great examples. And then you have mothers that end up having to be mothered by their daughters, and mothers that are too destructive without realizing they're being destructive, and daughters that are making a choice to cut contact in order to be able to protect their emotional health, and daughters that desperately want to see their mother again. There's just this full gamut. So for me, what I pulled out of this is a book about mother-daughter relationships and how they change over time. I think that little bit in the first chapter about sensing the truth about your devotion and attachment to your mother not being able to continue the same way that it did when you were a small child, that relationship has to grow and evolve and become less of a relationship of attachment than a relationship of mutual respect and support. but it was really, really well done. This is a book that I feel like I'll be thinking about for a while. And I listened to this on Libro, and the voice actors did a fantastic job. It was very well done. I liked that we had different voice actors for each character, because that helped me keep things straight in my head. But the format of this book, I think, lends itself to being physically read. Because you have, again, and I know that things are a little backwards, but like you have, it starts off with a letter, dear mother. And then you get into, like, this is a news release, an update on the search, and then another letter to her mother. And then there's, let's see here, there's like a transcript of an interview that's in here of, they're trying to figure out what happened to this hiker. And then there is, like, I remember I had one spot that was a little bit confusing to me. So, like, there's a transcript of an email, and then there was another one that was like a report of, like, all of the search grid teams are reporting in. And when you're listening, and it's grid team 4, grid team 1, grid team 2, hasty team 1, grid team 5, grid team 2 again. Like, it was very hard as an audiobook, but not in a way that detracted, really. It was just kind of like, oh, I wish I could see that on the page, because I feel like this would just compute better in my brain. So I think this is a book that lends itself to being read in a physical copy, but the audiobook is still absolutely worth it. Like, if you can't get a physical copy, you don't have time to, like, sit down and actually read a book, but you can listen while you're going about your daily tasks or driving, which is how I do it. This should be on your TBR. I find this cover really beautiful, for one thing. And I really want to go to Maine now because it sounds gorgeous. Yes, this is just such a good book. If you have any mother issues, if you have issues in a mother-daughter relationship, if you've lost a mother, whether that is to death or to addiction or to something else, just know that this book will make you feel something, and you should be prepared for that going into it. But it is so worth it. There's something cathartic and healing about this book, and yes, I recommend this book. If you can read a physical copy, great. The audiobook is still really good. Just be prepared for the different, like, transitions in the format of what is on the page. So there it is, Heartwood by Amity Gaige. Completely understand why it's a read with Jenna pick. Such a good book. Such a good book. I will be thinking about this book for a long time. Have a good day.